Please select fan films. Excellent. Select your guest. Josiah rises. Ready, set, go.
What's up? How's it going, Ricky?
Going good. It's good to see you back. Good to see you back in the game. Even though by this point this will be uploaded, you'll have been back for like 4 months now. So
yeah. No, it feels good to be back, and I don't know. It's nice being able to actually get online to talk with people like you again. So
yeah,
nice.
He survived without the internet for a while, guys. It can
like
happen.
5 or 6 months. So
humans can exist without it for a while. So take note.
Yeah, and I actually do recommend it a little bit. So it's good to kind of get away sometimes and reflect on things in life a little bit. So yeah,
get a vacation, get your focus realigned.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, so with Josiah, I picked none other than some Lord of the Rings fan films for us to go over. So today we're going to go over one of the 7 and give us a little bit of background with you and Lord of the Rings and a little bit of filmmaking, because you've got a big history as far as I can tell.
Yeah, so I've always been someone who's been fascinated by a lot of the old fantasy type tales and stuff. I grew up reading like the Odyssey and Beowulf and the Epic of Gilgamesh and some of these stories and stuff. And when the first thing that I ever saw of Lord of the Rings was for the film Fellowship when it was coming out, and it was a poster. It was actually a billboard of Arwen, and she had like the cut on her cheek and stuff. After she was fleeing from the Nazgul. Right. And I was like very interested in that. And, she had like her elf ear and stuff. And I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. And then we started to get like different toys, and we saw action figures for Fellowship of the Ring and the stores and everything else. And my parents didn't let us watch Fellowship of the Ring when it was first out and stuff, because they thought it was going to be too scary.
Of course.
Yeah, but eventually we were able to convince our dad to buy Fellowship on VHS, and so we watched it at home on a Sunday afternoon, and it was just like
Fellowship on VHS. That sounds so
crazy,
bizarre.
Right?
What?
Yeah,
what?
I know. Yeah,
VHS.
I might be dating myself a little bit there, but so basically, it was just like super. It completely just, when I watched Fellowship, it completely changed my life. It blew my mind just how amazing it was and how epic it was, and ever since then I've fallen in love with Lord of the Rings and fantasy in general and just storytelling. And as I started to watch the behind the scenes features for the Lord of the Rings trilogy, I started to realize I want to do this. I want to make films, and I want to be a filmmaker. And so that's really what inspired me to want to get into filmmaking. And as far as that goes, I've made all sorts of different short films over the years. I've made my own feature-length film as well, a couple documentaries, some of that type of stuff. And then I took a long break, and I basically switched my focus from filmmaking to YouTube for a while. And I've been doing YouTube for a few years now, and now we're kind of at a point where I may or may not be getting back into filmmaking and stuff, and kind of going back into that with a lot more experience and a lot more resources as well. So it's something that I'm very excited about.
Yeah, dude, I'm excited to see that come to fruition one of these days. Of course, check out Taker's Crown on Amazon. That's cool. That's cool how you got into Lord of the Rings. That's similar to how I did. Like I saw it at my dad's. I think he had a DVD of it, and like at his house, there's not that much to watch. So I was like, okay. He never got cable, never got all that stuff, and Lord of the Rings was there, and it's like it felt different than the other films because it's like a whole. It's a long period of time you're sitting there. It's double the length of other movies. So
right.
Like,
totally.
It wasn't really a movie experience. It was, okay, this is what I'm doing while I'm visiting. So that's
right. Was it extended or theatrical?
I think I saw the theatricals for the longest time. And then only in the last 2 years I saw the extendeds. And I was like, what the hell?
Aren't they just so good?
It almost makes the theatricals look bad by comparison, just because of the lack of the stuff where it's like, oh, it's his staff did thing, and he talked up the Witch King that did nothing, and it's just like all these other lines that just went over, and just kind of glazed and everything, and then it's all filled in there, all nice and good. There's maybe like 3 or 4 of the extended scenes that I think weren't as necessary, like when Merry and Pippin are like drinking the water from the trees. That's like that can be on the floor for me. That's fine. But
yeah, the extended is the way to go. So yeah, totally.
Oh yeah, exactly. But so with that in mind, everybody, and with how and Rings of Power is coming out, and what is that? 2 months, 3 months now, or
yeah,
something
like that.
You know, fans have made their dedication to lots of films over the years, and fan films are a little different than short films because they're based on the characters and everything, and that's why I've been enjoying this journey going through a lot of these. So we're going to take a look at another one today, a Lord of the Rings one, which Josiah and I were talking behind the scenes. Like, it's probably really tough to do a fan film of Lord of the Rings because the amount of stuff. So any of them that can even make the attempt is commendable in a way. So this one's called One of the Seven. This one is by Rhyme Films. They've got just under 5,000 subscribers. This has like about 500,000 views. This was uploaded last year, actually. So this was a recent one.
Okay.
From last year.
Cool.
So lots to expect here. Let's check this puppy out. Do you hear it okay?
Yes. Yep.
All right, cool.
7 for the Dwarf Lords in their halls of stone. These were the rings of power. Rings that corrupted their bearers, darkening their nature, whispering promises of wealth and power. Many suppose these rings were lost. Yet some...
I'm already kind of immersed a little bit. I like how they're starting it.
I love that their first shot is basically a replica of the shot of the dwarfs grabbing the rings from Fellowship of the Ring, from the prologue of that. Like, that's awesome. That's super cool.
Yeah, it seems to be trying to mimic that in a way, but they're doing different wording here so far, right? Or is it the same dialogue so far?
It's a little bit different, yeah.
A little bit different. Yeah, what do you think of the design of the rings that they chose?
Yeah, I mean, it looks okay. It looks okay. You can tell that it's, you know, doesn't look like it's an actual metal there or anything, but it doesn't look too bad.
I mean, I would say considering it's for the dwarves, I do like how it almost appears more bulky than those.
Definitely.
Just in that regard, I kind of like that choice.
Yeah.
And what do you think of the music so far? Is that from Lord of the Rings, or do you
no,
feel it's original?
It's different. It's definitely original. But it definitely kind of has the same type of feel and mood to it, so that's pretty cool.
It does. Good start so far already, and it's less than a minute in, so nice.
Believe one of them was found by the elves. Obscurity souring the already broken bonds of trust. The dwarves say the elves stole their treasure. The elves tell another tale.
This is one of the most accurate like intros to a fan film that I've seen, as far as like keeping with the material that they're basing it off of.
But they're really nailing everything as far as the tone and just the look of it, the setting and everything. So it's pretty cool.
And even the elves look pretty good for that, and the way they were shot.
Yeah, definitely.
The finding of the ring did not remain secret for long. The dwarves were hunting for it. The ring called out to them from Mirkwood, an elven forest of unseen paths and great perils.
Is that a chick with a beard?
That's what I was trying to figure out. I think so. So I guess they use maybe they use women for dwarves.
Yeah, well, with that's they're keeping with the lore as far as I can tell, right? With with that as a start, so not bad. Even if it's not a huge beard, it's still there.
Yeah, I mean, to me, I think what they're trying to do, and I could be wrong here, but this looks like it's supposed to be Fili and Kili from the Hobbit films. They look almost exactly the same as Fili and Kili. So I wonder if that's what they're trying to do here, if they're trying to kind of bring them into the story, or or not. So we'll see if they mention their names or not.
Elves leave no trace, but to the wise no path is truly hidden.
He's like, shit. It could be a boy too, but I don't know the way that it looks.
Yeah.
Elven lumber spread revealed a way to the borders of Mirkwood. They were drawn to a lone elf. Woody Howl whispered to him of things lost and precious. Dwarves were not welcome in his lands. We were once one, for I was his queen, his evening star.
What's the name of this character? The guy again?
He
looks like the one guy I was in the Fellowship, right?
Yeah. I mean, if this is supposed to be Mirkwood, I wonder if that's supposed to be Thranduil, the Mirkwood Elf King. I'm not entirely sure exactly where they're going with this yet, but that's kind of what I'm guessing.
Right, and I'm just pointing out too, just for people, because we've had little commentary so far. It's like we're just watching the events unfold until we can comment on something, essentially. So if there's some gaps where we're not saying anything, we're taking in the scene and then kind of addressing it here. Like,
as fair as the white gems of Lascaran. They were crafted by the dwarves as a gift. But when darkness took me, oaths were broken, and the dwarves kept the gems, shattering the peace between our peoples.
the sword looks very fake, but I guess it's going for the blockiness of like the dwarves is what I'm guessing.
Yeah, you can definitely tell it's not
like
an actual...
Minecrafty kind of, but you know.
yeah. I do think that the production design of the elves so far are definitely better than the dwarves. So.
Yeah, I think so. A little more. I think it's easier in a way to do the elves, but then again, it's like all the elegant bits, the jewelry. Do you think they had to make that, or if they just found that somewhere? It's like there's a lot of little details.
Dwarves breathe so loud they could be shot in the dark.
The dwarf breathed so loud we could have shot him in the dark.
My king knew what had drawn them to him.
There's also been no dialogue so far, essentially, from the characters, and they are doing a pretty good job at portraying their personality, I suppose.
Yeah, definitely. I really do think that's supposed to be Thranduil, so that's kind of cool. They did a good job with the look of him and stuff. So
yeah, good casting considering fan film again. Like I'm wondering who like wanted to do this and how they got the people together to play the parts.
But then he saw what he had long sought. The dwarves offered a trade, a chest of gems for the Ring of Power. A Ring of Power, however, is not easy to abandon.
Okay, they called it a Ring of Power. Okay, not the Ring of Power.
That's supposed to be one of the dwarf rings of power. That, I mean, obviously that's what the title of the film is, one of the 7. So this is one of the 7 dwarf rings, basically. So somehow this, I think it's Thranduil, I could be wrong, ended up achieving this this ring. So basically in the books of the Lord of the Rings, the 7 dwarf rings, let's see, what was that? They were either completely lost and nobody knew where they were, or they had all been taken in possession. But I believe, if I remember correctly, they were all lost. So this is kind of interesting that they're going with this type of storyline here.
Do they ever explain what the rings for the dwarves are supposed to be able to do?
Not really, no. So at least not from what I remember from the books. I know they definitely did it in the films, but I don't believe they do in the books. So
okay, because it just seems like I don't know what their power would be, and from what I could tell, I don't know if the rings had anything to do with their own demise, like in Moria or anything. Those didn't seem to be connected, but I don't know if they were supposed to be connected or not. Like they said, their greed dug too deep, but I feel like that's just part of their personality anyway, and nothing to do with the rings.
So if I remember correctly, I think Sauron actually did find a couple of the dwarf rings, and then the other ones were lost, if I remember correctly. So but some of the stuff were, you know, like in Moria, with everything that happened between the dwarves and the orcs and all that stuff, none of that necessarily had to do with the rings, if I remember correctly. So
okay, did Sauron make the 7 rings for the dwarves too?
Yes.
Wasn't it supposed to be like he makes all these rings, gives them to everybody, and basically what happened to the race of men was supposed to happen to the elves and the dwarves as well, but for some reason that didn't happen in that way.
Yeah, so there was this elf named Celebrimbor as well, who helped Sauron forge the rings and stuff. But Sauron, I believe he disguised himself as Anatar, if I remember correctly, and then he basically was able to use that his guise of this beautiful person and stuff to convince the others to take the rings and stuff like that. So
okay,
yeah,
that makes sense. I was about to say, if they're like, oh yeah, Dark Lord's giving us gifts, nice.
Like, yeah, exactly.
Like, what?
Yeah,
that makes more sense if they weren't really sure about that. Okay.
Yeah, but Celebrimbor did help Sauron in the forging of the rings and stuff as well. So
okay, that makes some sense. In Dwarven language, okay.
Kenonin. Anin Galnin.
That's cool that they're speaking actual Elvish there.
So, and I find it interesting too that an elf is attracted to a dwarf item. I would think that they would almost assume that all dwarven things are all useless or beneath them, based on their attitude toward dwarves.
Not even a king could resist its power alone.
So I wonder if this is supposed to be the ring that belonged to Thrain, because he was basically the last one, I believe, who had one of the dwarf rings, and he lost it when he was imprisoned by Sauron in Dol Guldur and Mirkwood. So I wonder if that's kind of where all of this is kind of leading to. So
this could be. Thrain, he was the one in The Hobbit, right? The main dwarf.
No, that was Thorin. Thrain was his grandfather. So
okay.
Sorry, he was Thorin's father. Sorry,
father. Okay.
Yeah, Thror was is Thorin's grandfather. So
okay.
Dwarves gain the Elven King's trust They were granted leave with a ring in their hands.
You said he's the Elven King, so right here.
Greed. It can make or break a dwarf. The love of precious stones burns deep in their hearts, and a ring of power can corrupt even the fairest soul.
Oh snap!
Okay, they tricked
was
them.
unseen by
nice.
elven eyes.
Wow,
that's cool.
So that's got to be a good move to be able to fool them somehow.
Yeah, yeah, right. That's really cool. That's a really cool twist.
Especially since don't elves have like mega eyesight or something? They have like they can like don't they always go to Legolas like what do your elf eyes see? And he's like you know the red sun or they're I could see them with my supervision that they're way over there.
Right.
It's like you know we're not alone in these woods and stuff. So,
yeah, but dwarves can also be pretty cunning as well.
Yeah, that's good. Well, then I like that they're displaying that dynamic again. Not one dialogue from a character, but there's a lot being presented. So no.
The dwarves would answer for their crime. The ring had deceived them all. But it was the dwarves who would pay with their lives.
I wouldn't think that a dwarf could outrun an elf. Just FYI,
right.
Just leg length and everything, but you know, we'll see.
The dwarves would not risk their quest. One turned back so the other could fly, be it fool's hope or not.
So I'm curious if the dwarves are somehow attracted to the necklace that she has, or just their general greed in general.
Right. Yeah, I mean, to me, it kind of seems like they probably. I mean, dwarves are kind of susceptible to to wealth and all that type of stuff and jewels and everything. So, I don't know. I guess maybe they just thought that they could somehow get away with tricking the elves. And
I feel like it's a balance between this could be extremely simple or more complex than we think.
Right.
I don't know.
I think what happened was in that last scene, I think this blonde-haired one was the one that tricked the dwarves or tricked the elves. Sorry,
Yeah.
and the dark-haired one didn't realize that he was doing that until later in that scene, because when he saw like the gems falling out and stuff, he looked kind of like he kind of had like an oh crap look on his face.
Yeah, well, and he's like, and we're still in their freaking forest, man.
Yeah,
We're not out of the clear anyway. So
yeah.
Their fellowship was broken. Recrimination and regret weighed heavy on all. The way forward was obscured by the darkness of the ring.
I'm wondering if it has any like actual power, like the Ring of Power had it like physical power to Sauron, and did the Elven ones have like healing powers or something? They had.
Yeah, I know that they had. I think if I remember correctly, like when you have like the rings, you could like communicate with other people who had the rings and stuff as well, like the other rings of power. I know that was something like that was mentioned in Fellowship of the Ring, the book, because Frodo was like asking about, you know, the rings of power to Gandalf or something. So I know that was one of the things. I'm at least from what I remember, from the books and stuff, there wasn't any like specific mention of like what the other rings of powers could do and stuff. So it could be something similar to the One Ring where it's different for each, you know, each bearer of the ring and stuff. And so who knows? I mean, it'll be interesting to see if they actually, you know, explore some of that in this film, like what the ring can do and stuff.
Yeah, because so far it seems to be very similar to the main Ring of Power, which I'm hoping that they make it a little more different than that, just because so far it's been so similar to it. I like that they're playing off of it, but I wouldn't, you know, if I were making it, I wouldn't want it to be the same effect,
exactly,
like, you know, the same temptations, the same corruption. I'd want it to be a little bit different in how it is going about anyway.
Right, exactly. Yep.
They had to decide is what to do with the time that was given them. The gems fell.
So it's like, do they care about the gems or not? Like,
I'm not sure how these gems are falling so much out of the bag.
It seemed to be a closed bag.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't.
Yeah. So
I guess that's one detail I'm not really understanding right here.
Right.
The gems fell like pure starlight from the heavens. Okay, but how? From the hole in the bag? Or...
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Like, do these gems essentially mean nothing to them, and the necklace and ring mean more? I guess. Like, I can understand the ring, but the necklace in particular.
That's the weird thing about dwarves is that, from what I remember, they weren't really consumed with lust for their rings of power necessarily. It was more like their lust for just gold and treasure in general and stuff. So
because I was gonna say, a ring, when you introduce a ring to dwarves, when they already they build and mine for gold and all those other things, it's like, oh, it's another jewelry, whatever. Like, essentially is what I assumed they would think immediately. It's just another piece to go with our other stuff. So
yeah,
nothing too special.
Like pure starlight from the heavens, as if they heard their true master's call. Lamoy. To recover his queen's gift, the king would choose compassion.
I do kind of admit, though, that by this point, I'm kind of wanting the narration to stop and seeing characters act, I guess.
I think it kind of seems like they're just going to do that throughout this whole thing.
Yeah, so. I mean, it's over halfway through now, so that is the style. But it's just, as far as a tone thing and hearing the music go again, I'm just kind of wanting to just like have a quiet.
Yeah, right.
And then like settle, because I don't know, the music, I'm starting to hear the music more now. a little bit.
Yeah,
I think
I think it's
feeling that too or not.
Yeah, I think it's kind of at the point where we don't really need the narration as much anymore. Just kind of let the story unfold, even if there is no dialogue. Just let it play out and stuff. Because
yeah,
I'm still able to follow what's going on even without the need of the narration. So
yeah, by this point, I'm almost getting just slightly annoyed with when it was starting to blare a second ago. I'm just like, oh, stop.
Yeah, exactly. I do like these forest shots and stuff. They're really cool. So
yeah, they're nice and good. They shot on a good camera too, so that helps.
That which caused so much strife should be kept secret and safe.
I mean, it's not that well hidden, but
yeah.
Yeah, so it's like I feel like all the music hits would be more impactful if there was a break. I feel like it's been constantly going this whole time. I'm getting a little fatigued from that. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know if you feel that way. Like I really like to have breaks in between little bits to make it hit more when music happens, because otherwise it's just background that's still going. You know,
it
feels like to me.
Yeah,
but yeah,
definitely.
And now they're showing this, and now I feel like before it was a lot of good setup for the story and everything and all that, and now it's just like, now it just seems like they're just showing us. I don't know what the story really is going for now. It's just getting the necklace back, and I don't know. It feels more mundane now by this point. I don't know. I just
we'll see.
They're showing it. They're showing them discover the trail that they had before, and this would be a detail that I wouldn't really. I don't know if I'd include if I were to do a short film. You know.
Yeah.
Interesting though how they're having the elves almost, oh yes, the gems. We got to get our gems. It's like kind of a role reversal of interest. Like the dwarf was dropping them and didn't really care, and then the elves like, oh, we got to get the gems off the. I wouldn't think that they'd pick them up off the floor. Really, like I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
I guess that's an interesting reverse. Yeah, how much was in that one bag? And they have a nice little waterfall in the forest here with stone.
Yeah,
for real. Like
the road would not.
I wonder where they shot this at.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering too.
So far, most fan films unfortunately don't list where they did a lot of their locations, like in the description or anything. So it's a little disappointing because there's so many of them that I'm like, where is this? Like, dude, that's awesome.
This is really cool. I like this. It feels like an ancient foundation of some ruin or something. Like
that's what I was gonna say. The fact that this is a real place that they filmed. This was. It's for some reason this was built like that.
The dwarf was cornered, with no hope of escape.
Let's jump in a barrel and you'll be fine, you know? Well, it'll just fall on the rocks if you drop it there. I mean...
Yeah, right.
You gotta do a little throw. Okay, now they'll just go get it. I mean, I'd imagine that a little waterfall is not going to stop an elf from getting
right.
Like, all their skills. And, okay, I'll just get wet, I guess. unless and then elves have a strict no getting wet policy or something that I don't know about.
If the dwarves could not have it, no one would.
Okay.
I'm not entirely sure what was supposed to be there.
I don't know. I was almost thinking like, was that supposed to be Tariel and
right?
And, like, what's his face, like you said, and
yeah,
no, and that doesn't make much sense on the timing based on what you're saying with this. So I don't.
I'm kind of confused what that was supposed to be. Like he winks at an elf and then
tries to kill him. Okay. Yeah, I don't know.
Interesting.
Maybe we'll find out in a second, I guess.
It is sad how trust can be broken.
It is extremely shallow water. Oh my gosh. That's that. It's going to wash up on the shore, essentially.
Yeah. I don't
or just
think
be visible. You know, anybody could find that.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think the ring would be, floating along the river like that. So
no, either. No. So I don't know. Interesting choice. I'm not sure why they chose to do it like that, but
yeah.
Okay.
How the free races of Middle-earth stand against one another, growing their list of allies thin as the great evil rises. And for what? The elves found where the gems were hidden.
They're barely hidden, so
yeah, right.
Like, yeah, it's literally he could see it from far away. So, yeah.
But the ring had left Mirkwood.
Throwing dirt on it would have made it slightly more obscure.
Yeah.
Find.
So the dwarves, they brought this chest of gems with them to the elves. And it seems like they were on a mission to get the ring back, from what it seems like.
Yeah,
I mean, that's why they would bring the box of gems with them, right? So
yeah,
so they gave them the gems, but then they tricked them. They had the gems and the ring, and now they've lost both of them. So,
and the way that the elves found the ring was just chilling on the floor. So
yeah,
little. I'm not sure all the threads are there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Evil magic waved. The visions of the white gems of Lascaux faded.
You think those are real tears?
I don't think so.
Especially since it's a single tear.
Yeah.
It's got a lot of water in it, it seems. Yeah, okay, that's not a real tear. Never mind.
The lone elf's gaze. Turned northeast.
Is that supposed to be Moria or something?
I think that's supposed to be the Lonely Mountain.
Is that where they go to in the Hobbit?
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, okay.
So, and that
they're mines or whatever.
Yeah,
right?
and I guess that would make sense if they're in Mirkwood, because the Lonely Mountain would be kind of northeast there. So, yeah, I think that's supposed to be the Lonely Mountain, Erebor.
Okay.
So I'm kind of like confused where this is supposed to like fit in the timeline of stuff. Like, so I'm not entirely sure. It's cool that they have the same font that they used in the Lord of the Rings movies and stuff there.
Costumes. They were crafted by the actors who wore them. Wow.
Oh, interesting.
The film was shot in Finland, but people joined the post-production from other countries like the UK.
Okay, interesting.
So Finland, nice. The elf warriors collaborated to ensure their looks would match each other.
Nice.
Good idea. Good idea.
Yeah, the main elf dude, I think, was definitely the best out of everyone in the cast and stuff.
Definitely,
especially if they like made their own costumes and everything. He definitely did the best job at that as well. So
yeah. So basically, what he says down here is this is an unofficial fan fiction story video made by 32 Tolkien fans. The project is entirely non-profit, non-commercial. The video does not participate in any film festivals. We collaborated on this fantasy video project for fun. So it sounds like this isn't supposed to be retelling anything specific that has happened. It's like just taking the concept, ideas, characters, and putting them in a place. And letting an event play out that's not directly with the events that happen.
Right. Yeah, and that is Feely, Keely, like the cosplays are Feely, Keely, and Thranduil. So
okay.
Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Interesting. Yeah, I guess it just kind of did their own little, interpretation of things and stuff and made their own little story out of it. So yeah. So
which that's cool. I mean, a lot of fan films do that kind of thing where they take the concept of something, and that's what I like to see in some fan films. However, it's just the way that was portrayed was a little. It could have been a little tighter, I think, slightly tighter. I really wish that there was at least breaks with the music. Break it up. I mean, like I said, I'm learning about filmmaking all the time, and I just, that's one thing I've learned is like, if you hear constant music, I mean, unless it's more subtle music, like where the dialogue overtakes the music or something, then that's one thing. But hearing it constantly, I was kind of like, I don't know, mentally, I'm just starting to hear it louder in my head.
Right.
And I'm just like, and they're showing events and she's narrating events. And I'm like, okay, by this point, I really kind of wish I wasn't hearing, like I'm getting double information on something that is easily being portrayed already. And I don't need that necessarily at certain points.
Exactly.
Like, I don't need both. I just kind of want to watch something play out. And again, I would have been, like you said, if they didn't even have dialogue and there's no music or voiceover going, you could still see the events play out. And that's where the sound effects would probably come into play, how they have sound design going. But
yeah, exactly. Yeah. I think it is cool that they didn't really use dialogue that much. And I agree that they just could have done a little bit better with using like, other sounds and things like that to express what's happening with the story besides just music, basically. And I mean, they did have like the sounds like the dwarf language playing. They were like looking at the ring and stuff, which was kind of cool. But yeah, I agree. There definitely could have been more breaks in the music and stuff.
Overall, it's a really good production quality on there. I mean, I think that goes without saying. Practically, it's like awesome location, pretty good use of the shots and everything. The way that the actors portrayed the characters made enough sense. We both agree that elves the costumes looked a lot better on the elves than the dwarves, but I almost feel like that was sort of on purpose, like to make the for a visual contraction or whatever, a visual comparison of the blockier Minecraft style compared to the more elegant elves. I assume because otherwise, like with Gimli and them, like I don't know if they're just their weapons alone, like an axe or all those are supposed to be the main differentiating things with it. Like I haven't looked at them side by side to
no, there's definitely if you like look at the elves versus the dwarves in Lord of the Rings, they definitely gave them their own distinct cultural look and everything. The elves are definitely a lot more elegant and flowy in their designs and everything, and dwarves are more geometric and things like that. And so I mean, this film did a pretty good job of kind of portraying that. But yeah, I do think that the overall, I mean, elves are probably just easier to, nail down more than the look of dwarves and stuff. I mean, I'm still trying to figure out if those were like kids or like women playing.
Yeah, that was a little tough. That was a
stuff.
little tough to tell. So they did a good job on their costuming for that.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
but I guess the one thing I would say, because I was like 24 minutes long, I think, and I feel like that could have been a little shorter, and that might have helped with the pacing. I guess the pacing was extremely slow for it.
Yeah.
And I guess that's fine. Maybe it's just the way that I'm used to seeing stories, is that, like, you know, like in Lord of the Rings, I think that was 6 minutes where she's doing the intro bit, and then, you know, you get to see some events start to unfold a little bit. And it's like, this was like just feeling like it's setting up the story that you're going to watch, and it's still going. And that's after a little bit, I was kind of like, okay, it's kind of want just the difference. And that's all I can think about. By the time we're at the 12-minute mark, I'm just like, I want something different now. Wanting a little definitely change of pace or something.
This easily could have been a film that was more like 15 minutes.
Yeah, that's all I'm gonna say, about 15 minutes. And if it was 15 minutes and done how they did it, I think that'd be more acceptable. It'd be like, okay, that's what filled that time. But over 20 minutes of that was a little rough for me.
yeah, definitely. Yeah. But overall, I did. I enjoyed, especially like the locations that they used and stuff were very well done. Overall, I think that some of the blocking and some of the shots and everything were pretty well done as well. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see if we get like more motivation for people to make more fan films with Rings of Power coming out and stuff, and especially if fans aren't happy with it. We kind of saw that like with Star Wars and stuff, you know, like after the sequel trilogy and stuff, there's a lot of fan films coming out and stuff, and people were very supportive of those. It'll be cool if we kind of get the same thing with Lord of the Rings as well.
Yeah, but so thank you guys for watching this one. This was a fun little watch. This one's probably a little longer. It's probably our longest fan film watch, to be honest.
Okay, nice.
So far.
But
that's
cool.
All good. Yeah. Look forward to seeing you in the future watching some of these. And
thanks for having me on. Yeah.
Yep.